Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from Decoy Voice.
Funny how you can finally have a peaceful protest when you just let the police go Rambo mode. As the anti-Trump No Kings protests march through the streets of downtown Los Angeles, with Elijah Schaffer showing us they're just walking around the homeless because Trump is the problem in LA, waving all sorts of confusing, long-winded signs, including tax the rich, LA is a city of immigrants, and JD Vance ate my son. But the real issue was what they were saying.
I'm just so scared. I'm 74 years old. I worry about everything, and I don't understand why people did vote.
He's not gonna be a dictator or some king. Why is everybody so...
For this person.
Including sacrifice ourselves as human shields.
And then we gotta put our bodies on the front line when needed.
So you're more than willing to put your body on the line to jump in front of a car for protesting and for immigrants and things, but you're not willing to put your body on the line to create life and have children and have a family? Got it.
Find and follow leaders of color first. And then when they ask you to be a shield.
Okay.
Imagine showing up to this protest because social media told you Trump
I love Decoy's Voice's freaking Kings jersey. Because yeah, LA Kings, bitches.
is a dictator. Then some lady on stage tells you you're here to be a human shield. That's some weapons grade brainwashing if you stay, as they definitely knew they'd need some human shields. As the LA sheriffs came in with massive numbers, almost like a show of force parade, and Anthony Cabasa records how they brought back the armored cowboy cop cavalry, who immediately got to business pushing the protests away.
Done.
With MSNBC desperately trying to control the narrative.
So you can see, whoa, they're messing with the horses. Guys, let's go. Let's back up here. Obviously people are unhappy, Ari. People don't want to see horses trampling. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
It's funny because like using animals is probably the best. They care more about animals than they care about humans. So using horses to push them away, they don't want to hurt the horses.
We're good, Ari. We're good. Keep going. We're good.
I understand he's trying to get out of the way for his own safety, but it really seems like he's trying not to show you how these idiots are antagonizing the police horses, as they'll complain about the police shoving back this old man, but ignore how he basically forced them to do it, as these police horses are actually doing a great job at crowd control.
Note to self, best CC in real life, horses.
And for whatever these horseback cowboy cops can't, they tear gas can.
This is my city, guys. A lot of people that live near me, work in LA and stuff, can't go to LA. Like they just haven't been going to LA because they don't want to get their cars trashed. They don't want to get stuck there because people aren't letting them in and stuff. I don't get this protesting. I get protesting, but I don't get this particular protesting. It's like the unemployment rate for these people are just so high and they don't care or something, because I don't got that kind of time.
So when these activists tried to take back some of the street, the sheriffs had no issues marching right through.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly, and in the name of the people of the state of California, order all those assemblies.
With the LAPD looking like a scene from the Revolutionary War.
That's standing in line and just shooting.
as the city eventually devolved into a combat zone.
Wait, they're shooting real bullets? What's going on here?
I really wonder if the mayor let local law enforcement do this 6 days ago, would they have been able to destroy any cop cars or loot any stores? As it really seems she only let the police do their thing so they don't get showed up by Trump's Marines. As a USMC stayed at the ready outside the federal building, with BG on the scene showing us them shaming the Marines.
I don't get the whole destroying federal buildings thing. Those are taxpayer buildings, by the way. Why are we destroying our own buildings?
But treating them drastically differently, as they're not playing with paintballs, the Marines are carrying M27s. Interesting when you don't treat them like peaceful protesters, but idiots that just raised the city for several days, they suddenly know how to behave. As local KTLA showed us how quickly they quelled the crowds, but also stating this was following a day of peaceful No Kings protests, conveniently omitting how the LAPD reported concrete, rocks, bottles, and commercial-grade fireworks being flung at police officers.
You know me, guys, I don't really care about politics too much, nor do I really want to cover politics, but this riot stuff that's in my city is just ruining everything. Politics is ruining everything.
And I admit, unlike the riots, there wasn't any burning of police vehicles or looting of sushi restaurants, but likely because they were actually allowed to immediately arrest any bad actors, as several cities like San Diego had peaceful protests, even over.
That makes much more sense to me. I'll get behind that, but when you're just destroying cars and destroying buildings and looting, I get the looting part is not probably the people that are protesting. I do understand that too, but the way you're going about your protest, it's people are able to use your distraction to loot things.
In Philadelphia, it was much of the same. But if all these American flags at a liberal protest seem unfamiliar, it's because somebody was paying to have them massively distributed. And they weren't the only city astroturfing their protests with pro-American sentiments. But over in Texas, they had a very different approach to the No Kings movement. It's always interesting that they keep referencing a fictional story about a oppressing woman, while simultaneously they're openly endorsing the—
Oh, right. I thought it was like that. I didn't realize it was a fictional character, right? It is that one Handmaiden's Tale.
mass importing of a certain belief system into this country that is incredibly oppressive to women, and you don't have to watch a TV show, it's actually happening. I'm not trying to say they're wrong, I'm not trying to say they're right, I'm just saying it looks stupid. But at least they were peaceful, unlike in Washington where they pelted the police vehicles driving away. And in Seattle, scared drivers actually drove through their makeshift barricades. Then in Salt Lake City, there was a shooting.
Again, it's just so early right now. Fortunately, we have everyone involved in custody, and we're going to be sorting that out. We also had a lot of witnesses, and we're talking with the witnesses as well to see what we can learn.
But when looking at all the protest coverage, they barely seem to acknowledge it. And over in Portland, they're angry at the coppers pointing weapons at them, when later, they actually invaded an ICE facility, injuring several officers. Which really makes you wonder if they had the Marines, would any of this be happening? As over in New Jersey, they allegedly were protesting another federal building when a riot broke out and 4 known criminals ended up escaping. And did any of these activists step back and think, okay, maybe we're not necessarily accomplishing anything. No, they just mindlessly do whatever the mob tells them. As this—
Right? Because again, this is all about deportation and stuff, right? Trump isn't even deporting as much as freaking Obama deported, but everybody still loves Obama.
This No Kings rally is essentially against Trump's deportations. But as of April, he's only shipped off 140,000 people. And I'm not a math Asian, but I think 140 in 4 months, multiplied by 3 to make the year, and times 4 for 4 years in office, should only make 1.6 million. which is nothing compared to how many people Obama deported without due process. And as Mays Moore shows us, he even campaigned on it, and they still voted for him.
The Bush administration
I remember this campaign. I thought it was a good campaign then. That's why I think it's a good campaign now.
has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders. It has become an extraordinary problem. And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. As president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need.
Obama is basically a MAGA conservative by today's standards, where the left simply adores him only because nobody has told them not to, as they have zero virtues, just NPC talking points to parrot. But the big question here is, if everybody should be allowed to simply walk in and become an American, with everything—
Hell no. I worked hard. My family worked hard to be Americans. We were given very great opportunities to make that happen, but we worked hard. It wasn't given to us. And I don't think it should be given to anybody unless you were born here, your parents are both Americans. That makes more sense to me, right? But everybody else, get in line like everybody else.
Everything going on in the Middle East, with our allies' city being struck. As they continue to attack our enemies. If America gets involved in a hot conflict, do these newcomers get sent to the front line to die, or is that specifically reserved for American-born men? As we saw in the recent war in Eastern Europe, refugees that received social services for years immediately fled the country. And I honestly don't think somebody should be forced to the front lines to fight someone else's war. But when you have massive amounts of people demanding that they deserve to stay in America, so much that they're willing to destroy the city to prove their loyalty, should the need arise, are the Democrats then going to ask or even draft them to fight? And that answer tells you everything.
Shout outs to Decoy Voice. That was awesome coverage on that. I don't want to cover it too much, but I had to cover at least some of it just because it affects on my life and affects a lot of people's lives. And it's not just LA, right? It's in so many cities and so many things. And it's kind of almost unavoidable. Even though I try to tell you guys to avoid some of these things if it doesn't pertain to you or, it doesn't affect you greatly, because there's other things to affect, like get a good job. Do well for yourself, take care of your family, protect your family. That's much more important than whatever the hell's going on now. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time.